time move here, Gary.
Talk about elevating and linker. Jermaine Griffin says, well, if Kobe can't do it, maybe it's my turn to take over. I'm the second leading scorer on this team.
Good afternoon. This is Mel from Queens Sports Talk on WGJSradio.com. Thank y'all for tuning in. Call in 347-410-8077. That's 347-410-8077. I want to hear from you guys today. We're going to be talking about contracts today. We're going to talk about Zion Williamson contract stipulations that the New Orleans Pelicans put in there for him. And we also going to talk about the Kyler Murray contract situation. It actually got walked back this week with the Kyler Murray contract. But let's start out with the Zion Williamson contract. And I want you guys to call in, give me your feedback. So I always tend to be a fair person, right? I call it the way it is. If the owners are out of pocket and they treating plays like a certain way, I normally, speak up and I talk about it because a lot of times I feel like as athletes, we're being pimped. A lot of times we're getting pimped. And a lot of things tend to work more in the favor of the owners. And a lot of times the owners aren't really fair, But me being an entrepreneur, me being a business person, I don't really move like that. I try to move with integrity. I try to move, fair. But at the same time, when the owners get it right, we got to speak about it. We got to talk about it. And I think with Zion Williamson, which is one of the biggest names in the NBA since LeBron James. He's the only one I feel like right now. When LeBron James retires, right? If there's a player who can bring that cachet, that power, to get people to watch, it's definitely Zion. I feel like even Steph Curry, as great as he's been, he's never been like on a LeBron level as far as like celebrity status, in regards to he's never been on the LeBron level. But I feel like Zion, if he's in shape, he can be that person, right? But we know for the first few years in Zion's career already, he's been having issues with injuries. And a lot of times people attribute that to his weight, right? So there were rumors out there that maybe Zion wanted out of New Orleans. Maybe he wanted to, try to go somewhere else. But he chose to stay with the New Orleans Pelicans. And he got a contract extension. It was a great extension. And with the extension, they put a stipulation in there where he has to maintain a certain weight in order for him to kind of get certain incentives. And I personally don't have an issue with that. And the reason why I don't have an issue with that is what we talked about because of the injury. For Zion to be such a big name in sports, I think you need him at his best. What comes to mind is a story when Charles Barkley used to talk about when he first came in to the league and he was fat and out of shape. And Moses Malone had to pull him to the side and be like, listen, man, you need to get in better shape. You can't be out here looking like a fat slob or whatever it is, Moses Malone said to him. But Moses Malone was keeping it 100 with Charles Barkley. From that point on, for a nice percentage of Charles Barkley's career, he ended up getting in shape, and he ended up, being like one of the top 75 players all time. He was one of the top 50 players when that came out all time. He's an all-time great at his position. He's definitely in my top 5 all-time power forward. So I feel like his weight, maintaining his weight and being in shape, it helped a lot. And you can't have a marquee player, which to me, if he's playing on the basketball court, the only name that's bigger than Zion would be LeBron James. Now, doesn't mean that Zion is the best player. I still believe that Greek Freak is the best player in the NBA right now. Some people could argue that, but I feel like he's the best player in the NBA. So I'm not saying Zion is the best player, but I feel like Zion is going to attract the fans. If Zion come back this year balling, if he's playing this year, you're going to see like a shift to where all the attention is going in the NBA, and you're gonna be looking to New Orleans, where Zion Williamson is playing, right? So with that being said, he wasn't the only one that had a stipulation in his contract, this week. Kyler Murray for the Cardinals, NFL, he had a stipulation in his contract at first, and it got too much attention. His stipulation was more so for making sure he was watching. Well, that's how it was put out there in the media, right? It was making sure that he was watching the footage the week before the games, making sure he was watching the videos, making sure he was prepping, making sure he's preparing himself. And the media, they took that and they ran with it, and it was all a bashing game for the whole week. Does Kyler Murray, can you depend on Kyler Murray? Is he a quarterback that you need? Can he be your guy going forward? If you have to force him to study tapes and stuff like that, do you want him on his team? So they was pretty much bashing him the whole time. And the Arizona Cardinals had to take that out of his contract, because they was like, listen, when we paid him $230 million guaranteed dollars, this wasn't the blowback we were expecting. We have total confidence in Kyler Murray. We have total confidence in what he brings to the table. We have total confidence that he's the guy for our team. So they decided to take it out. Now, let me say in defense of the Arizona Cardinals, right? I don't know if when they kind of put it in the contract, if they really meant the way they put it in there, and the media just ran with it, and because of the blowback, they kind of backtracked a little bit, or if when they put it in there, it was really no ill will, no negative intent, and so when they got the blowback, they still pulled it off, but they're like, no, what are you talking about? We never intended that way. We would never know, but it was out there, and it was done. But I like the fact that they showed the support to Kyler Murray to take it away. They didn't have to take it away. They could have left it there and let people think whatever they want to think. But as we having this conversation, I want you guys to chime in. 347-410-8077. 347-410-8077. It's your boy Mel from Queens Sports Talk. And we on WGJSradio.com. So continue, to check us out. Continue to, to support us. I know last week we had some call. I forgot to mention. I saw it late, but I want to give a shout out, to the Lux Library. They pretty much was tapped in and tuning in last week. I didn't get a chance to shout them out, but I saw the message later. So shout out to the Lux Library and everybody, that's watching. If they watching now, but I definitely want to shout them out. But yeah, I want to get y'all take on this. Do you agree with the owners, or do you feel like, as a player, as an agent, you shouldn't have a stipulation like that? Now, like I said, Kyler Murray, the Arizona Cardinals took his stipulation out. So that's really no longer an issue. But it was in his contract, so we can't act like it didn't exist. Like, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about Zion? Do you feel like that's a fair stipulation to have in his contract in regards to his weight? Because one thing people don't realize about basketball, especially when you're a player his size, especially when you're jumping out the gym the way he jumps out the gym, right? Weight is very important, because when you dunk and you're doing all these dunks and you flying through the air, that 300 plus pounds, or, whatever, they want him to be at 285. So every time he jump, he's coming down on his knees is putting 285 pounds of pressure on him, right? And you imagine the duration of his career, 82 games a season or whatever amount of games he plays. He's scheduled to play 82, but nobody really plays 82 games. But I'm just saying, he's scheduled to play 82 games. Could you imagine the weight? So imagine if he's out of shape and if he's overweight, right? And he's coming down. That's another way of setup for more injuries. So like I said, I feel like the New Orleans Pelicans got it right. And I feel like it keeps pressure on Zion to be at the best shape of his career as long as, at least for the next duration of his contract, this next 5 years, he has to maintain his shape. But hopefully it builds a pattern in which he can use, going forward. We know that Zion, he had an injury at Duke. It set him back. And we saw when he first came to the NBA or when he was in the process, how he was looking kind of out of shape. Then he got back in shape. And then we saw when the season started, he looked like he was in shape. And then he had an injury, looked like he was out of shape. So it has been a lot of up and down when you look at Zion Williamson weight. I don't know his exact weight, but if you're just looking from using the eye as your measurement, then I would say definitely that, it wasn't a good look. And if I'm an owner, I want the most marquee player in the NBA outside of LeBron James on the floor, and I want him healthy. And I don't want to pay him a whole bunch of money if he's not going to take care of his body. So, chalk one up for the owners. They got it right, on that one. To me, they got it right. I think sometimes people take for granted LeBron James and how he's been able to take care of his body during his NBA career. There's many rumors out there. No, it's not just rumors. He spoke on it. A lot of times he's addressed it to the media. A lot of times the media spoke on it. But LeBron James pretty much spends about $1 million+ a year on his body alone. You know what I'm saying? That's sacrifice. That's like dedication. All year round, not just during the season, all year round, he spends the money necessary to take care of his body. If I'm Zion, I'm giving LeBron's trainer a call and be like, hey, can I work with you? Can you work with me? You know what I mean? That's what I would do. So we'll see. We'll see how that go. But at the end of the day, man, I think it's going to be a great thing. I think Zion, he should take it serious. I'm not like a New Orleans Pelicans fan, but I am a fan of the game, and I want to see Zion, have a good year. I want to see him finish strong this season. I want to see him have a great year. Yeah, we got a caller, so let me see this caller that's calling right now. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
Name is Nathaniel from White Plains. What's going on, Mel from Queens?
Yo, Nathaniel, what's good, bro? What's going on, man? Thanks for calling, man. I appreciate it. I know you've been trying to, get in and tap in for a while now, so thank you for calling, man.
Yeah, I had to, man. I mean, the last couple weekends, the first time you went on air, I tried to call in, and I think it was you just had a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
And then the last couple weekends, I kind of missed. So, I figured, I was like, I almost forgot again. But then I saw on your page, you was on live. I was like, let me call this dude right now.
All right, appreciate it, man. We have a lot of back and forth, man. So just a little quick backstory, man. We in a basketball NBA debate group, man, and he one of the brothers, man, I knew for years, man. We just talk basketball and sports all year round. He's a big Phoenix Suns fan, man. So you can imagine we was going at it all year, man. And, it's great, man. So I appreciate the support, man. And, thanks, man. And what you want to get into, like, today, man? I mean, the topic is Zion Williamson and his contract, Kyler Murray and his contract. But if you want to kind of throw something else out there, man, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, we could talk Zion, and then I also wanted to talk just the Pacific, the Pacific West.
Okay.
In the Pacific Division in the NBA, but
okay.
You're the host, so I'm a big Zion.
Okay, go ahead. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm a big Zion fan. I was a Duke fan, and I just think that contract is perfect because he doesn't work as hard as he should be. And when you're in the NBA, man, like you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game.
Facts.
I mean, you should be on your shit. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. You should be on your game. From the first day, like, you're where everybody dreams to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he has the talent to be like one of the best ever, in my opinion. One of the best power forwards ever. I mean, he's almost 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a 48-inch vertical, 45-inch vertical, and he's strong as crap. You know, I mean, like, he should be dominating the game. He should come in, rip. And you got all them facilities. You know, I was 100% on board with the contract, and I also, you know, we got to realize, like, the NBA, they paying for talent. You know, these kids only stay a year or at the most 2 years in the NBA, so they're paying these, you know, kids for potential in the future.
That's
so,
right.
like, we can't really focus on the money. You got to focus on the fact that they're investing in the future potential because they're so young. You know what I mean?
That's right. Nah, I mean, I'm like 100% with you on that, man. You know, when I saw that, I was like, you know what, maybe like that's going to be a thing where, you know, more teams are going to start doing, you know what I mean, adding like different like stipulations where, you know, it's protecting the, you know, it's protecting the franchise now, you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of times we talk about sports, and a lot of times when the owners do wrong, you know, we show our support for the players. And I feel like this is a point now where we got to say, you know what, man, the owner of the, you know, the franchise of the New Orleans Pelicans, they got it right as well, man. So I agree with you on that. So
Yeah, it's like
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead, yeah.
No, you got it. Go ahead. It's all you.
I'm even worse in real life. You think I run my mouth online? Like you got to be the first one to hang up with me, yo. Like it's even worse in real life.
Yeah.
But you know, you're 100% right, and like it's like I said, like you got to be serious about it. Like look at Kyle Murray. They put a stipulation about him studying in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now it could be true, but it's kind of disrespectful. But then you saw Mahomes come through and start talking about it because they called out Mahomes also because he had a bad playoffs and the year he had was kind of lackluster. You know, so they started, you know, criticizing him, and we all know the stipulations between the black quarterback. Yep. So like these stipulations in these contracts, like you got to I guess you got to take it with a grain of salt. I kind of wavered there, but
so let me ask
Zion, he's got to get his stuff together, man.
Let me ask you a quick question, because you know the Arizona Cardinals, they went and they took out that stipulation out of Kyler Murray's contract because they said how the media perceived it, and I really believe that as well, because if you heard the media, man, they just jumped they jumped right on him, man. Oh, he's not a franchise player. You don't want a guy like this running, you know what I mean? Yeah, being a QB, and he can't do this and he can't do that. And he had to come out and say, like, yo, you think I would have made it this far? I would have been this good if I wasn't studied, if I wasn't a student of the game. So he had to come back and speak up for himself. And then it seemed like the franchise, they backed him, and they was like, nah, we ain't ever mean it that way. Do you think they did mean it that way? And because of all the heat that they was getting, they just backtracked? Or you think it was just something they just threw in there? Because that's kind of strange to have that in the contract. Don't you think?
I think we could all say that was like the first time we ever heard of some stuff like that in the contract, man. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they would never do that. I say, people don't like to talk about race, but you know me, like, I like to keep it real.
Right.
We already know they wouldn't have put that in a white quarterback's contract, man.
Facts.
We got to talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
I kind of laughed at it at first because I'm not the hugest Kyle Murray fan.
Yeah.
I think he's a little overrated, but you know he has the talent. I think he's kind of got a noodle arm though. That's the thing. I like quarterbacks with big arms. Mm-hmm. But you know. Some guy, he brought up a point about Brett Favre a couple of years. Like, Brett Favre didn't know what a cover 2 defense was the first 5 years of his career, and they covered for him. So it's it's 100%. It's you know, we got to call it for what it is. Right. And then they got the heat, you know, behind it, mm-hmm. and they took it out because of that heat. They wouldn't have took that shit out. Oh, excuse me, they wouldn't have took that out if it was like, you know, if nobody said anything. If nobody said anything, they would have took it out.
Right. Fact.
I'm 100% agreement with that.
Yeah. And like I said, man, you know, now here's the thing. Like, if it was an issue with him not doing his thing, like I said, as an owner, I want to have a franchise, you know, with me as an entrepreneur and stuff like that. You got to protect your investment. You got to protect your business, and you got to protect that. So I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But at the same time, you see that the quarterback and the franchise are on one accord because they like, you know what? We're going to address it together. We're going to take it out, and we're going to move on. But like, as you said, because he's a black quarterback, the media is going to let it ride out for a few more days, and they're going to play around with it, and they're still going to drag him. And, you know what I mean? They're going to still, get into that. So, I appreciate your take on that. Now, I know you want to get into, like, the Pacific, division, what you want to talk about in regards to that, man? Let me hear your take. I know the Suns just got Ayton, re-up with the Suns, man. So
man.
Let's talk about it. Like, what's your expectation? Because you see, like, Golden State, they just won a championship. They're gonna come back hungry. The Clippers is gonna be ready. People sleeping on the Clippers. You already know about the Lakers and the Suns. I'm just looking at those four. If you want to look at anybody else, that's on you. But I'm looking at those four right now. Like, what you want? That Pacific Division. What you seeing? What you want to talk about?
I mean, I kind of wanted to talk about it because you're a Laker fan and I'm a Suns fan, so we can, it's only natural we talk about, our rivalry and what we think of the year. But also, like you said, people sleeping on the Clippers. If Kawhi comes back, you're talking about PG and Kawhi, and then they got Wall.
Wall, come on,
the Pacific Division is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
All Wall got to do is just facilitate and stay healthy for 50 games. They can manage him, you know what I'm saying, and get him ready for the stretch run. Like, it's us, it's y'all, it's and the only reason the Lakers suck was because of injuries last year. I mean, I roast y'all all the time.
Oh yeah,
like, all the time. You know what I'm saying?
And
it's so much fun because y'all been running the damn you in Boston run the NBA for you've been running the NBA forever. Like, we ain't got no rings, and then we choke like, oh my God. You see, I ain't talked for a couple of weeks. I couldn't say nothing. I couldn't say nothing.
Yeah.
They laid an egg. Yo, I'm sick of CP3. You trash CP3 for all them years, and now I'm kind of halfway on board with you.
Okay.
I was just like, yo, this guy's a choke artist, man. I can't take it no more.
Now, let me say this, because I don't like when people say I trash, because I don't feel like I trash players. Like, I feel like I call it like I see it. I keep it basketball. I don't talk about their off-court stuff they got going on. I feel like that's when you trash a player. I'm just saying that the things how they rate Chris Paul, people forget about the teams he's been on. He's been on some great team. Even when he started with New Orleans, right? And we're going to get back to the Sun. When he started in New Orleans, he had David West, Tyson Chandler, he had Peja Stojakovic. Like, those Chandler ended up being a key part for not only for the Knicks, when they was at their best with Melo, but also with Dallas when they won a championship. David West was at his best in Indiana, and he was solid in New Orleans, and he was a big part of what they had going on there. He went to the Spurs, and I think he believed. Did he have a stint with the Golden State? I believe. I think he might have won his championship with Golden State, right? And then you have Peja Stojakovic. You know what I mean? Shaq used to say, man, like, anytime you got a Vic at the end of your name, something like that, you can shoot. So we saw what he did for the New Orleans Pelicans. So when they talk about Chris Paul and some of the teams he goes and he makes a difference with every team. You can say that about every player. Before Melo got to Denver, they were bad. And the year he came, they did better. When he got to the Knicks, they was bad for a long time, and they got better. So I feel like he's a little overrated in that aspect, but when it's time to show up in the playoffs, he's either injured or he chokes. So that's when people say, oh, you trashing, you don't like Chris Paul. So that's where my energy was for Chris Paul.
Okay. You see, this is actually the first time we've actually debated audio. See, a lot of stuff gets lost in context online too, yo.
Facts.
Like a lot of times, like cats be saying, oh yeah, why are you talking like that? You sound mad. You can't, it's a lot of stuff that's lost in context. All right, that makes sense, man. I didn't mean, when I say trash, I guess not like trashing his character or anything like that. Kind of like, all right, okay. All right, I can't. You cleared up a lot of stuff right there. I understood, overstood, yo. I understand, and I'm 100% on board now as far as him choking and stuff, because I just feel like he took a fall, man. Yeah. Like he was cooking.
Yeah.
He was cooking and everything, and then all of a sudden he just like, it was like he was out of gas in that New Orleans game after going like 7 for 7.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he just couldn't play anymore. And then like after the playoffs was over, some ghost thigh contusion injury. I just feel like he got paid off, man. You know me, I'm flat earther, conspiracy theory, all of that, all of that stuff, whatever. I'll gladly hold the title.
Let's talk. This is shit. We're going to talk about that because I'm with that. I believe you watch certain games and you be like, really? You know what I mean? So I believe some players be taking that bag, some coaches, some organizations, some franchises, the NBA, some referees. Like, I think some people be taking that bag and people, play their role for the good of the greater good sometime of the sport. I feel like people might have took some bags in the Jordan era, the LeBron era, the Kobe. Think about that, the Sacramento Kings versus the Lakers, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Like
them Kings teams was loaded too.
Exactly,
they had
man.
a lot of talent on them, man.
That year when they had the Lakers on the ropes, man, I think Shaq and Kobe had about 58 free throws, man. They was down. They was killing. They was cooking the Lakers. And next thing you know, man, like the whistles and stuff. So I believe that players, take that hit in organizations every now and then. Like I said, it ain't proven, but the way it looks. So my question for you is now, before we what's your expectation for the Phoenix Suns, right? Now, I know you're a fan. You can speak for as a fan. Then I want you kind of put a reality in there. You got the Lakers.
Of course.
That's coming back. They regrouping. I don't feel like that we finished making all the moves. I mean, we still got to fill out our roster. So we far from done, right? You got the Lakers. You got Golden State, defending champions. You got the Clippers. You got the Suns. Suns for the last 2 years has been on top of the West, the NBA. Where do you see the Suns this year coming in, finishing? Where you see them in the season, like in the division, in the season, and what are your expectations? Reality, real. You know what I mean? Just being real.
Okay. I'll make it quick because I know you got a show to run. The goal for us right now, we have no rings, so we got to win it all. We just lost in the finals a couple years ago, and we lost horribly last year. I'm glad we were able to keep our young nucleus because we're super young still, so we can run it back for the next 4 years. Aiton's happy, he got his bag. He's a 23-year-old center. He's still developing. Booker's 25, Michael's 25. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we can hold on to Cam. He's 25, 26. These guys are young men in their prime. The key factor is CP3. We got to manage him because he's old. So I don't see us finishing top seed, especially with our division and how beast it's going to be. Lakers will definitely be healthy. Clippers coming back healthy. Golden State's the champs, and they got young pieces that are developing. They're going to be even more stronger, I think, next year. So I see us being around between the third and the sixth seed. Third and fifth. I don't think before as low as sixth. Just because of the fact that we got to manage CP3. Yeah, in the West. I don't think we're going to finish top. Because let me tell you something. I think we ran out of gas in the playoffs because you remember it was a COVID year the year before, and we made it to the finals. So we played all the way into July. Then we only had 1 month off. Then training camp. Yeah, training camp right back at it. So we made a mistake trying to get that record, that franchise record of wins.
Right.
If you notice, we was gassed during New Orleans.
Yeah.
We had way more talent than New Orleans, but New Orleans was killing us on the boards, hustle point. They had more energy. Yeah. They wanted it more. We was mentally and physically tired. So I say between the third or fifth seed.
All right.
And the goal is, and I think I probably go with Golden State winning the division. I think they're the title favorites right now.
Hold
but
on
our division is beast though.
Okay. All right. Hey, I got another caller, so I'm gonna switch it real quick, and I'm gonna follow up with that what's name. So you know what I mean, yo, thank you for calling in, man. I appreciate it. All right. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, it's Jay from Long Island. How's it going today?
Yo, what's going on, Jay, man? Thank you, man, for always, man, for your support, man, the show, man. And what you want to talk about, man? We was talking about the Kyler Murray. I started off talking about Zion Williamson contract and the stipulation that he has on his weight. The Kyler Murray stipulation that was in his contract that the Arizona Cardinals removed, and you heard the caller. It was talking about, the Phoenix Suns and the Pacific Division, and what do you think they're gonna fall in at. What you want to talk about today?
Okay, well, first I want to correct the previous caller because he called you a Lakers fan. And you a LeBron fan, so we got.
Wait, hold on. Let
You're
me say
Lakers.
this. No, when
You're not a
LeBron,
Lakers fan.
hold on, I am a LeBron fan, but I had put my stamp in the ground before LeBron even came to the Lakers. So I think LeBron.
you a Lakers
I think
fan.
LeBron followed me. So here I robbed the Lakers, man. But you know what I mean?
Yo,
you know what I mean?
all we need to know, whatever team LeBron on, that's the jersey you rocking, man.
I mean, here's my thing, and I tell people this. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I've never been a fan. Like I support all New York teams, right? I support the Mets. I'm a Mets fan. I'm a Giants fan of football, right? I never supported New York basketball. I never liked the Knicks organization. I always was a fan of Patrick Ewing, but I just never liked how they did things. I don't like how they ran it. Even when they ran Mark Jackson off, you know what I'm saying? When they ran off that team with Gerald Wilkins and Mark Jackson, the only team that took the Bulls to 7 games, the next year you get rid of Gerald Wilkins and you get rid of Mark Jackson. But that's neither here and there. But, you know, I rock with LeBron for sure, but I rock with the Lakers, man. So, you know what I mean? But, you know, what you got, man? Yeah. So what else you got?
Yeah.
Did you break? Yeah. What you saying?
You talking to me? You had another call? I mean, you need me to hang up because I was going. It's like 17 minutes now. It sounded like you talking to somebody else. I don't. You know.
Oh yeah. I had another. Yeah. Yo, thanks for calling, man. Yeah, I don't know what just happened.
The call cannot be transferred.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened there, but yeah. So we had Jay from Long Island. We had Nathaniel on, and I appreciate Nate, man, for calling in, man. And I agree. I feel like here's the thing about the Phoenix Suns, right? And Jay from Long Island, if you want to call back, I don't know what happened. You can call back. Here's the thing with the Phoenix Suns, right? I believe in Booker. I believe in Ayton. You know, I like Payne. You know, Bridges is tough. So I feel like the Phoenix Suns, they're young, and it's really on Booker of how far they can go. If Booker be the 70-point Booker, like the one that was on fire that's unstoppable in the bubble Booker, the one that's just killing, you know, he step up his defense. I feel like there's no reason why the Phoenix Suns shouldn't be right there in the mix of things. I feel like they got enough talent. I feel like they should definitely manage Chris Paul's role. I feel like there were too many times, not only this playoffs, but the year when they played against the Milwaukee Bucks in the finals, I feel like it was too much Chris Paul trying to be the second leading scorer of the team to prove that he can lead the team scoring-wise. I feel like that took away from Ayton, and I feel like that took away from Payne and other players a little bit. I feel like if Chris Paul could focus on this season, averaging anywhere between 12 to 15 assists, I think that's going to put the Phoenix Suns in a better position when he's really focused on being a facilitator and not a scorer, not trying to be the number 2 scorer. Just feed Ayton, feed Devin Booker, you know, feed Bridges, you know, feed these young guys and allow them to carry him during the season. And when he's needed in the playoffs, because, you know, in the playoffs, it's reduced now to a 7-game series. So you're going to need him every now and then to say, you know what, I might have to put on scoring mode to kind of like get, you know, to help the team out. And then he had those moments versus him just going with the mindset that the Phoenix Suns need me to be the number 2. So I feel like the Suns do have enough talent, like you said, that they can be a top 3 to 6 team in the West for sure. I don't think they're going to be 1 or 2, but with the talent they have, we shouldn't rule it out. Because I hate sometimes when we put other players above other players. We do it because of how they play, but is Booker not as good as Kawhi Leonard? Is Booker not as good as, like, you know, Steph Curry and all these top players? When you look at Devin Booker, right? In order for them to go far as they can, he has to look at himself in the same conversation with like the Steph Currys, the Kevin Durant's, the Greek Freak, and those guys, right? Now we know those are the top 3, but he got to be at least see himself as the top 5 player. I don't fall in love with the stats and different things like that. If you ask me, and I feel like he is a top player, I would take Devin Booker over Luka Doncic. I would. He carried the team the last 2 years. You know what I mean? I don't get caught up in like what Luka's doing and all this because the media trying to put him over player. If you're talking about Sheer just getting it done, I'm putting Devin Booker top 5. So if he play like a top 5 player, you getting it from Ayton and other guys. Phoenix Suns could be in the mix. They could be anywhere from 1 in the West to, like you said, top 5 in the West, or 1 in the NBA to anywhere top 6 in the NBA. So that's I'm gonna leave that with the Suns. I feel like they have the talent to do it, but I feel like this year the Pacific Division is definitely going to be the best division in basketball this year in the NBA. I don't think no division is going to be as tough as that Pacific Division out west. But give us a call, 347-410-8077, 347-410-8077. You know, this is your boy Mel from Queens on WGJSradio.com. So, you know what I'm saying, man, or just continue to tap in or miss out. But I got a caller. Caller, where you calling from? And what's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, it's Jay again. I don't know what happened before. I was just talking and then it went to whole music or something.
So what you trying to say? You trying to say you came at me about the LeBron thing and then we lost you? You trying to put that on me? Then come on, man. That wasn't on me, man. I was
they
here.
They cut me off after that.
I was here, man. You know what I mean? I was here.
It was like next caller.
Exactly, man. Nah, but what else you want to get into?
Okay, a couple of things real quick. I want to talk about the Kyler Murray thing.
Okay.
I think it was some racial undertones on that. That's why they pulled it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because there ain't never been no history.
Wait. From when you say racial undertones, from the media you saying, or from the team?
Nah, from the Cardinals to try to be slick.
Okay. Go ahead.
I feel like the Cardinals try to be slick and throw that in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I never like that stipulation.
Now, my question would be for you.
I never like that.
Now, a lot of times we talk about like race and different things like that, right? And I can understand how you feel that way. But if it's true, do you feel like you still feel it's a race thing? If it's true, like just say if it was true.
I don't see how it would be true because he took his team to the playoffs, right?
Uh-huh.
He took his team to the playoffs. His team were they number 1 last year? Like dudes, I don't know if the dudes watch him, but he's been playing amazing since he got there.
Mm-hmm.
They had a number 1. They had a pick in they had Josh Rosen, and then they got rid of him to get Kyler Murray because they knew what he had. He turned the franchise around, so he's out there balling. So this IQ stuff and non-study stuff almost always come up when it comes to black quarterbacks.
Right.
This is just a history of the NFL. Like, let's just keep it 100. Like, the history of the NFL, anytime they talk about black quarterbacks, they talk about IQ, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you try to be slick and they want to justify giving somebody that amount of money, like, just give him his money. Like, he earned that. It's a reason. You can't tell me that he's not studying, they gave him that amount of money. That makes no sense.
Now, I agree.
Right?
Go ahead. Let me say this real quick. Now, I agree with that, right? That part. But here's where I kind of like, where to me it's like I kind of question it a little bit. Because every player has an agent, right? So his agent agreed to put that in there in the contract. So shouldn't the agent have some type of culpability for that? Is it only on the franchise? Like, or you think that the agent working with the franchise? Because they had to agree on the contract and then the agent had to look over it.
Man, if it ain't Rich Paul, I don't trust these agents, all right?
I feel you. Okay.
Nah, what I'm saying is, like, when it comes to these agents, right, a lot of these agents work for the team. So I feel like what happened was they wanted to pay Kyler Murray that money, but he deserved the money, and they kind of was, like, hesitant. So they tried to throw that in there, and I think he went along with it to make sure he get that. He wanted to secure the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, if you're trying to secure the bag, even if you don't agree with it, right, you're going to sign that paperwork because somebody giving you $230 million, $160 million guaranteed.
Right.
You don't know when you're going to see this again. So, of course, you're going to sign. It's just like when people, let's say like these artists coming up right now, let's say rappers, you hear this all the time. They get into these deals because somebody throw $1 million at them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they struggling and things like that. And then you know what? The record label, now they got them for 5 years or 10 years off a decision.
No. I'm saying like that makes sense. So I mean, I can see that happening. Saying, look, man, I don't care. Just I'm getting 160 guaranteed. They probably didn't think it was gonna blow over the way it did, but I'm pretty sure, man. Like once he signed that, man, like I kind of agree with you that somebody leaked that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like who would leak? Like think about it. Nobody has this contract. We don't know what be going on in these people's contract, right? Like. Who knew that was in the contract outside of the team, the agent, and the player? So I can understand where you coming from with the racial tone aspect because somebody had to put that out there and somebody had to kind of purposely put that part of the contract out there just like somebody purposely put that part of Zion Williamson contract out there. Because I'm pretty sure that there's probably stipulations in Zion Williams' contract where he get incentives if he make the All-Star team. If he all NBA, you know what I mean? If you all NBA, any all NBA team, if he make the All-Star. But nobody ain't point that out. So they want to point out things that probably they feel like they can drag players. So I agree with that part. So I can see that.
The thing is like Zion, when you talk about weight, I understand like when it comes to weight and stuff like that, that's one thing, right? But when you think about the NFL history and that quarterback position, and they talk about intelligence, that's why it ain't. Come on, when in history you had somebody was signed a contract and an organization changed that contract that fast?
Right.
When?
Right.
Over something, you telling me you changed your whole contract just because people's fans was mad? People was upset. You changed that in the contract. Then to me, you was trying to be slick from the day one. Because there ain't no way in the world you changing no contract. Because they got a lot of stuff in that contract. Why they only change that part of the contract? Why they only took that part of the contract out? Why they don't take other stuff out? They knew what they was doing. They got caught, and they was like, man, let's just like save face and get rid of that.
Try to correct it,
you know
and kind of like smooth it over, kind of.
Exactly.
No,
so like I said,
that.
Zion, I'm 100%. I'm 100% ball. You got people with weight problems all the time in basketball and football. That stuff is common.
So you cool? So you cool with the stipulation? You pretty much saying with Zion, you cool with that? I ain't really like no.
I'm cool.
Like I ain't really like no issue with that.
Right.
Okay. All right. Now, let me ask you a question. Like, what do you think about like Zion? Because like, do you feel like because I feel like. He's like the biggest name outside of LeBron. When you just talk about like a marquee name, I feel like he's bigger than like Steph. He's bigger than Greek. He's bigger than Kevin Durant. Like as soon as like he's healthy, everybody's all eyes Zion like never before. Like so, do you think like that's a great thing not only for the league but for his career? Maybe for the next 5 years, it kind of maybe he can kind of get like in a like train his body to maybe he can like have a long career because you know how it is, man, with those forwards, man. When you weigh that much, man, I was saying earlier, that's 285 pounds, man. And every time you jump, man, you coming down, man, your knees is feeling on that hardwood, man. So you think that's it's kind of like a win-win for both the team and the player?
Yeah, because I think the Pelicans is one of those amazing teams to me where, like, man, I forgot who they just picked up. They picked up Jordan Clarkson. They're going to be crazy, man.
What? They picked up, wait, hold on. They picked up Jordan Clarkson, what they got already?
Yeah, they got Jordan Clarkson. If you get a healthy Zion,
come on, man,
then it's gonna be crazy. That team gonna be crazy when it come around. Zion healthy, man. I think that team with CJ, Ingram, a healthy Zion, and Clarkson. I'm picking them.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Like now, I ain't picking them to win it next year, but I could see them really doing some crazy, because they're young. They got all those players. Like I said, you think about it. CJ is solid. Clarkson is solid. Ingram is solid. We know what Zion can do. Nah, that's a problem right there. I definitely could see them being a problem for anybody, for any team. Yeah, for any team, man. So what you wanna leave us with, man?
All right. What I want to leave with is stop it with the Suns. They ain't going nowhere. They done. Like the young stuff don't mean nothing because the team's been young forever, and
you don't think Booker? Wait, hold on. You don't think Booker's that dude? What you like? You don't think Booker and Ayton? You don't think they could be like one of those power 1-2 punches that can make some noise for like the next few years? You don't think so? Like, because they both probably under the contract for the next 5 years. You don't think they can't like?
Did you
like
send a picture or no?
Not yet. I was looking for one.
Okay, yeah. You can, yeah. So we can take the.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think they'd be a nice 1-2, but hold on for 1 second.
Yeah. So
I think they'd be they'd be a nice 1-2, but no. I think they missed their opportunity, and it might come around, but the NBA is too deep now.
Yeah. I appreciate thanks, man. I appreciate the call, Jay.
Always.
All right, cool. So yeah, that was Jay from Long Island, man, one of our faithful callers, man. And I agree. You know, I agree what he was talking about. I agree. You know, the racial undertone that could potentially be out there, and that's the thing people don't realize. You know, a lot of these agents they do be having these back doors with, and these people, you know, they be having back doors with a lot of these franchises and owners and things like that. Just like a lot of these attorneys that some artists that the label give them. These attorneys be working for the label, man. So, you know, that's why a lot of artists, when they start out, they end up in a bad deal. And so many artists spoke about, you know, how they got attorneys from the label, and you had other artists, you know, speak out and say, hey, get your own attorney, you know, do your own thing and try to give insight and advice. And that whole IQ thing, when it comes to football and a quarterback, you know, position, I do believe it's stretched a lot of times with, you know, racial undertones and how they try to manage the position to fit a certain race and how they think and how they move and how their body is structured. Like, you know, just keep it in the buck, you know, just a lot of athletes, especially Black athletes, African-American athletes, we're just different the way we're built, you know. And on a football field at the quarterback position, you can see like a lot of dual type threat, athletic quarterbacks who not only have strong arms and they can throw the ball and stuff like that, but they also bring other things to that position. But you notice they try to always kind of isolate it on IQ and all this stuff. And a lot of these quarterbacks that they try to make fit that mold, they don't even fit the mold. But they try to hold it there as like as the standard, whereas at the end of the day, it's all about wins and losses. Sports is about wins and losses. Because if you're doing something outside of the box and you winning, that's going to be the new wave. Before Steph Curry was shooting threes, that was the new wave. You see Patrick Mahomes dual threat, winning the Super Bowl. Now everybody's looking for that even more now than they were in times past. So, you know, it is what it is, man. I agree in a lot of those situations with those racial, you know, undertones. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But, you know, thank y'all, man, once again for, you know, checking out the show. Mel from Queens Sports Talk, you know, WGJSradio.com. You know, tap in or miss out, you know, and, you know, let people know, man, about the show. Call in, always continue to support. And, you know, next week, man, we're going to do it again. And then again and again and again, man. So thank you, man, for watching. This is Mel from Queens, you know, Sports Talk Radio. And I'm signing out. You know what I mean? Thank y'all, man. Thanks for the call as well, for calling in.
Time move here, Gary. Talk about elevating and linker. Jermaine Griffin says, well, if Kobe can't do it, maybe it's my turn to take over. I'm the second leading scorer on this team.